Welcome back to Trailer Trash Flips. It is early Monday afternoon, and I actually just got in from work. Well, a little while ago, I had to stop at my parents' house and help them with a few things. And what I've noticed as I've gotten older, and of course my parents have gotten older along with me, believe it or not, that with older parents, a lot of times their problems become your problems. And I'm speaking particularly with electronic things. I swear, I don't know if my parents' house was built on a burial ground or they have a poltergeist or what, but anything dealing with electronics at their house is a continual problem. And I'm talking from cell phones to computers, tablets. I mean, it's just a constant thing. And so they call me. And I am no computer wizard. And I even tell them, I'm just guessing at whatever I'm trying to do here. They'll want me to fix whatever issue is going on. And I don't have the answers. All I can really do is try to play around with it and hopefully come to a conclusion. And a lot of times I am able to, but my mom will be reading emails and gets pop-ups that say you have viruses, and then she freaks out. It's an ongoing thing. But I ended up having to stop by their house to work on setting up my dad's new tablet because he has become a Facebook addict in his old age. And I kind of teased him about, if he was getting the shakes or anything, since he hadn't been able to get on Facebook for a few days since his other tablet had broken. But anyway, so work has been really, really busy lately. And while I'm thankful for that, I'm talking about my day work. So I am thankful that, I'm not in the poorhouse, but it's really severely cutting into my eBay time. First of all, it's the listing. And I have not been able to get as many items listed as I've been selling to at least replace those things. And that's been kind of a problem. I haven't done a lot of sourcing except for estate sales on Sunday. I'm kind of itching to go to the bin store. It's been for sure a month since I've been to the bin store. And I also want to hit some Goodwills. I've said before that I don't really find a lot at Goodwills in my area, or at least traditionally I haven't. But there are 7 or 8 Goodwills within an hour of either direction of me, and really there's only a couple that are that far out. So I do want to make some sourcing trips to Goodwill also. I did go to, I can't remember, 3 or 4 estate sales yesterday. Didn't really get that much. One of them was an estate sale, but it wasn't really an estate sale. It was more like this warehouse from a guy who just bought lots of stuff and didn't really pick anything up from there. So I think total, maybe I went to 4, but it was not really a good estate sale sourcing day for sure. I've been using the new GoPro batteries that I bought, and maybe my expectations were a little bit high on these, but I don't find that these are lasting any longer than the Blue Top batteries that I had, at least not the first one. This is the first one that I used, and I didn't find anything different about it. I've got the second one in the camera right now, and I'm going to see how it goes. I was under the impression that these were supposed to last longer, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just supposed to be better in other ways. I don't really know. Even though I did get the stuff behind me cleaned up, I said in a few videos back that I am working on something different for behind me. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but then I started thinking about it more, and I was thinking, well, maybe I might do something different. But that is still in the works. I wish I could have had it done by now, but my time has been extremely limited lately, so that just has not been a priority. Weekend sales for me were pretty good. I've got 15 items going out for a total of $248.73. First, I'll show you the few items that I picked up at the estate sales this weekend, and then I am going to pull my orders. Okay, so these was technically 5 items, but these are the same. This is it. This is all I bought. The first item is this Geographical Goodies cookbook, and at this estate sale, when I went to the cookbooks, there was just some very run-of-the-mill stuff. There wasn't anything there, but I found this one mixed in with some other books. And it's the Geographical Goodies collected by East Baton Rouge Parish District Parents Teachers Association, 1970. I've never seen this cookbook before, and I doubt there were probably very many printed. It also has you know, South Louisiana type recipes for shrimp Creole, stuffed crabs, shrimp or crab gumbo, crawfish stew, shrimp remoulade. So it looks like it has a pretty good collection of regular recipes and the type of recipes that I usually look for in these cookbooks. Well, really, I look for cookbooks that are South Louisiana based, and especially the ones that are more rare, kind of like this one. Next, I found this Motorola TX500, and it's some kind of speakerphone, reduces road noise thing. It was brand new in the package. It's never been opened. I comped this at the estate sale, and they originally wanted 10 and they had it marked down to 5. Now this estate sale, oh, the book I paid $1 for. This estate sale did not do the typical 50% off on Sundays. They had just marked some things down. So I did pay $5 for this. Comps look pretty decent at maybe $25. I found this knife block, which was, I think it's brand new in the package. Oh, you know what? Is that messed up? No, it's not. I thought it was kind of messed up. It's not like a Cutco or anything. It has no branding on it as far as I could tell. There were some knives for sale there, but none of them matched up with this knife block. So I paid $5 for this. It may have been too much. I don't really know. I don't know that much about knife blocks, although I do know there are a couple that I do look for. But you know, at this point, this was the second to last estate sale that I had went to, and I just didn't have anything. So I did buy this for $5. And these two items are some World's Fair 1984. These look kind of like hurricane glasses. It says Bayou Blaster, and it has directions how to make it. Use 2 ounces official World's Fair Bayou Blaster cocktail mix. Mix with 2 ounces of rum. Fill with crushed ice. Decorate with orange slice and cherry. Now this set was marked $10, and I offered her $5, and she took it. I did not comp these. I was doing so bad trying to find anything. You know, that's why I paid $5 for this. I would have much rather paid like, you know, $2 or $3. And I just went ahead and picked these up. I mean, I don't think I have any problem getting my money back out of them. But, you know, it was kind of a slow day. As a matter of fact, I'm going to comp these right now and see if I can find anything. I didn't see anything on eBay or using Google Lens similar to this. So it's going to require a little bit more research later on for those. The last estate sale that I went to was the one that was not an estate period. It was more like a warehouse. If you've ever watched American Pickers and you see them go to a place that is just chock full of stuff, it was that type of deal. And I was really out of my element there. There wasn't a whole lot there new. And if I had maybe a week, I probably could have found a few things. It was just not like a regular estate sale. And I'll show you some pictures and a little bit of video that I took there. There were several rows of these type of shelves to go down. It was almost like a big shed, a lot of it. And some of it was stuff that wasn't even sellable at all. But there was several rows of that. You can see here, this is one side of the row of shelves, just paint and chemicals and things like that, stuff that I would never, you know, want to get into selling. And then there were a few rooms in the back that first they looked a little more promising. I saw this 4D Galaxy thing here. Now you have to remember too, these things had not been stored the best. So a lot of the packages were kind of messed up, and I did comp this item and it wasn't worth picking up. And another thing is most of these items didn't have prices. So there was going to be a lot of going back and forth trying to figure out prices. There was this G.I. Joe, I think that's maybe a personnel carrier. I comped it. They were not, you know, comps were not very good on that. Now this room, it had some trains, and okay, between the lack of pricing, my lack of storage area, and the amount of time that I needed to spend there trying to comp these trains, I was not all that interested in it. I actually had somewhere to be yesterday afternoon, so You know, I didn't have a ton of time to spend here. There were a lot of Hot Wheels and Johnny Lightning cars. I did comp a few of these, and there was nothing that I found that stood out. So as an overall, this whole estate sale was kind of a bust. Some weekends I do really well with estate sales, some of them not so much. It's just the way it works out. I'm really not disappointed, although I tend to sometimes buy things that I may not otherwise buy during bad estate sale days. There's a popular YouTube reseller husband and wife team local to me that recently bought out a big lot of Hot Wheels, Johnny Lightning, and a couple other brand cars from their guy. And it looks like their guy had first crack at all these cars. So the ones that were left over really didn't have much value to them. In F3, I sold roll bar grab handles, a set of 2. And these sold for $8.95 plus shipping. In the O2 bin, I sold a Hyper Chiller. Let's see. And this sold for $8.96 plus shipping. In the O10 bin, I sold a roll of braided sleeving. And this sold for $5.95 plus shipping. In F2, I sold some arch support insoles. Uh-oh. I don't see these. Oh, I don't see them in here. Alright, well, I'm going to have to skip that and go back to it. Would you believe that, yes, another bin of unlisted inventory, and sitting right here on the top are the insoles. And it is the right ones because it's the right size. So I got lucky on these. And these sold for $7.95 plus shipping. In H13, I sold a cervical collar support. And this sold for $9.86 plus shipping. In H5, I sold a portable heating pad. Is that it? No, that's not it. And this sold for $13.46 plus shipping. In E3, I sold 2 items. The first is a boat transducer mounting pad, sold for $20 plus shipping. And I also sold a DVD Korean in 60 minutes. And this sold for $11.95 plus shipping. In O13, I sold a pair of safety glasses. And these sold for $14.95 plus shipping. In F6, I sold some microphone windscreens. And these sold for $4.95 plus shipping. On the LS2 shelf, I sold this Demir or Demire pan. And this sold for $99.95 plus shipping. Alright, on the LP1 shelf, I need 2 hands for this item. It's a toilet safety frame. And it sold for $19.95 plus shipping. In H4, I sold a clip-in hair extension. And this sold for $7.95 plus shipping. In M7, I sold a Shock Doctor mouth guard, and this sold for $4.95 plus shipping. Back in my eBay room, and the last item is in the A2 bin. Here it is, back here. And it's a serpentine belt that sold for $8.95 plus shipping. So here's everything going out today, all 15 items. And everything here was bin store purchases except for the pan. That came from an estate sale. I paid $20 for it. I showed it in a couple videos back where I cleaned it up and everything. But everything else came from the bin store. And everything here would have been 50 cents or $1, with the exception of the transducer mount for a boat. And it was $2. and the toilet safety frame was $2. Everything else was either 50 cents or $1. It is Thursday morning, and over the last 3 days, I have had 2 sales. Just 2. And it looks like maybe my lack of listing has finally caught up with me. I have done some listing, but I have not done consistent listing like I need to be, just because I've been busy. And it appears that me attempting to bribe eBay to get sales with a 10% promoted rate has also not really been working. So Tuesday and Wednesday, 0 sales day, both days. So just 2 items for a total of $21.90. I did get a return request this morning for some vacuum cleaner bags that I sent out about 2 weeks ago. I also ended up with a cancellation for something earlier in this video. While I was packing up this Demire skillet, the buyer requested to cancel. You see, shows bubble wrap. That's why I run short on bubble wrap. But he requested to cancel that order while I was packing it up. And luckily it never made it to the post office, so it didn't end up having to potentially be a return. That kind of stung because that's a $100 pan. But I think this pan is in high enough demand that I won't have any trouble selling it again. A while back, I picked up this little platter with some flamingos at a yard sale, and I thought this was just stereotypical trailer trash right here. So I'm going to buy this and hang it on my wall. Well, I finally got that thing hung up. A flamingo tray picked up at a yard sale turned into wall art. It doesn't get more trailer trash than that, my friend. So anyway, I got that hung up and I thought that was kind of funny. I don't have anything else to do today, and it's still early. So my plan the whole day is to list. I don't have to go anywhere till this afternoon, just to run by the post office and to go by and get my dog some food. But other than that, the day is going to be a listing day. So let me show you my 2 orders that sold over the last 3 days. In H6, I sold a pellet gun magazine. And this sold for $10.95 plus shipping. And in H13, I sold some antiseptic cream. And that's not it. And this sold for $10.95 plus shipping. 3 days, 2 orders. Both bin store items. And that's right, 50 cents or $1 each. Pathetic sales for sure, but a lot of it is probably my fault for not getting a whole lot listed here recently. One other thing that I need to do today is still work on getting some items pulled that I want to sell on Whatnot. I don't yet have a date for the Whatnot, but it is still in the works, and I've got some things pulled, but I need to get some more things pulled for that also. It is Friday morning, and I did not go to any garage sales today. About 11 last night, I looked at the sales in the area, and there was only one that was really local to me, and this is a person that has a garage sale every weekend, and I've never found anything at this particular garage sale. So that one was out. There were 2 that were about 40 to 45 minutes away and one that was a little further. So I thought that my time would be better spent doing some listing. A lot of times they put the garage sales up the day of the garage sale, and I didn't check this morning, but typically I can kind of tell from the day before if there's going to be a good bit of garage sales or not that many. And with Easter being just a couple days away, maybe people aren't into garage sale mode. I also looked at the estate sale situation, and well, there's actually one that's ending tomorrow, which is Saturday. But as far as Sunday, there are 0 estate sales going on. So I won't be going to any estate sales. Well, I wouldn't be going anyway because it would be Easter and I would be spending that time with my family. Well, I don't know. I might go to a couple before we do our get together, but there aren't any. So not a good weekend for garage sales or estate sales. My 10% promoted experiment has just about ran its course, and I have lowered my promoted rate down to a much more what I consider to be reasonable 3.3%. And if you're wondering why I chose 3.3%, there's no science behind that number. I just thought it was a little bit higher than 3%, which may put me ahead of people who are promoting at 3 or maybe 3.1%. So I'm going to try that out for a while. I don't think I've ever promoted at 3.3%. I did promote at like 3.5 for a while, I believe. But nonetheless, I did take away the 10% promoter rate because as much as I hated giving eBay an additional 10%, I was getting sales, well, at least most of the time when I was promoting at the 10%. And since the sales have tapered off, which albeit probably my fault, I'm just not good with giving them an additional 10% if my sales aren't good. And it's as simple as that. So I'll let the 3.3 promoted rate run for a while and see what happens. I've been primarily listing items that I've gotten from estate sales. And those items take considerably longer than a lot of the items that I get from the bin store. Most of the bin store items, they are quick listers. I was going back and looking at my sales over the last month, maybe a little longer than that, just getting a general idea of what sold. Obviously, I've sold way more bin store items than anything else because I've listed and have a lot more bin store items. But looking at all these items and the cost of goods, I'm actually making more profit on bin store items. Now, this is not 100%. There are things that I buy from estate sales that have incredible margins. There's an item that I listed yesterday that I bought for $4 and it's probably going to sell for about $250. So there are exceptions. But for the bulk of my inventory, the bin store items are giving me the best profit margins. My thinking has been that while the bin store items are fine, I really wanted to diversify into other items that you can only find at estate sales, garage sales, and thrift stores. And I still want to do that. I had been previously thinking that maybe at some point I would phase out bin store items altogether in favor of garage sales, estate sales, and thrift stores. But I don't think that I'm heading in that direction. I'm still going to source these other places, but the bin stores, with the profit margins that I have on these items, you know, it's hard for me to just dismiss that. And in addition to the profit margins, it's the ease of listing. I often can list 15, 20, 25 bin store items in an hour. Whereas things that I get from estate sales and garage sales and thrift stores often need to be cleaned. Sometimes they take more research and, you know, they're just longer to list. So between the amount of easy items to source from bin stores, how quick they generally are to list, and the profit margins, you know, I think my thinking was kind of wrong there. And while the bin store items list quicker, you do have to list more of them, but it's easier to list more of them. And this business model may not be right for a lot of people, but primarily bin store items have kept me afloat easily for the last nearly 2 years. So I have changed my way of thinking that I need to phase out these bin stores. And to me, it just doesn't make sense to squander that opportunity to have access to lots of items that list quickly and have high profit margins. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.